Darth Vader is the Lord of the Sith, one of the most powerful Force users in existence, and an existential threat to the entire galaxy at large. So, it seems like the kind of threat that would require the whole Bat family to take him down. Batman and all of his wards stumble across Darth Vader as they're out on patrol. Can they take him down? Or is Darth Vader gonna be the last one standing? Well, let's find out. Starting out, let's take a little closer look at Darth Vader. And the first thing that we gotta recognize is that if we truly wanted to use Vader in his prime, then we would use this version of Vader. Anakin Skywalker was the most powerful Jedi in over a millennium, and he had unprecedented power in the Force. By Revenge of the Sith, he was more powerful than anyone on the Jedi Council, even Master Yoda. Even Darth Sidious had to concede that Anakin was potentially more powerful than him. And during the duel on Mustafar, this was Vader at arguably the height of his power. He's the chosen one. But then he was defeated by Obi-Wan, he caught on fire, had like half his body cut off by this point, and was put inside the cybernetic suit keeping him alive. And according to George Lucas, lost a lot of his power and potential in the process. Now that he's half man and half machine, he lost a lot of the ability in the Force because there just isn't as much human left. So where before he had the potential to be twice as powerful as the Emperor, now he's operating at maybe 80% of the Emperor's power, more on par with Darth Maul and Count Dooku. It also messed him up as a lightsaber fighter too. He lost and had to relearn a lot of the skill and ability that he had as Anakin, and definitely lost all that self-confidence that he had. Of course, there are other things to suggest that this isn't the case at all, and Darth Vader actually did get more powerful after putting on the suit, and that his prime was really around Return of the Jedi. Like, he lost his first fight against Obi-Wan Kenobi, first few fights really, but by the time that New Hope rolls around, well, Vader was powerful enough to beat him. And it wasn't just the fact that Obi-Wan was older now and couldn't fight as well with a lightsaber. One, because Obi-Wan had killed Darth Maul while in this same state. But two, because they were also having a Force battle at the same time during this fight. We just couldn't see that playing out with our eyes. But old Ben was wearing out and losing the fight before the fight even began. Just by being around Vader's presence in the Force was enough to tire Obi-Wan out. He had been growing more and more powerful in the dark side of the Force, tapping into a whole new power stream than before. And he's actually come to believe that his injuries only made him stronger and increased his connection to the Force. His pain fed his hate, and his anger, his hate turned into strength, suggesting he's still becoming even more powerful as Vader. So definitely a debate there. But honestly, just because we'll have access to a lot more cool stuff, we're gonna say his prime is Return of the Jedi. Darth Vader has been consistently called one of the deadliest Sith in history, one of the most powerful entities in the galaxy, and someone with the potential to rival or even possibly overthrow the Emperor himself. And this kinda did come to fruition. He did kill the Emperor, even if the death didn't really stick. His Force power manifests itself in a lot of different ways, from telepathy to creating Force barriers or amping himself with Force rage, but his primary has to be telekinesis. He's able to tear apart AT-ATs, bring down trees the size of buildings, or even bring down huge buildings themselves. His raw power is absolutely insane. And he's not necessarily just a bull in a china shop either. Darth Vader has pretty substantial control over everything around him. He's even able to force choke someone from all the way across the galaxy. But it doesn't just stop there. Outside of his insane connection with the Force, Vader is also a tremendously gifted and deadly fighter. He's impossibly strong, and he can use this in a fight, easily overpowering other Jedi or lightsaber fighters. He's surprisingly fast. Even with his robotic armor, he can block pretty much all attacks coming his way, and it's even been said that he's faster than the Emperor himself. Then where Vader shines is his durability, which makes sense. He's already missing half of his body and replaced it with metal. And even before that, he was still pretty good at enduring pain. Vader can legit walk through blaster fire, walk through explosions. It almost doesn't even faze him for the most part. He was even able to take Palpatine's Force Lightning. This is an attack powerful enough to have Maul crying on the floor and begging for mercy. Maul, the guy who feeds off of pain to make him grow stronger in the Force, and survived literally being cut in half. Palpatine's lightning had him screaming out, but when Sidious hit Vader with enough lightning to make his skeleton show up through the armor, I don't even know how that one's possible, well, Vader just kept on pushing, determined to kill him. Then there's just straight his skill. He's the best duelist the Empire has, and fights with a unique and unpredictable style that actually takes bits and elements from all combat techniques. He got more and more skilled between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, and then between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, to the point where it was said he was unparalleled in terms of pure skill. He had no equal, putting him above the likes of Obi-Wan, Luke, and maybe even the Emperor himself. So, can Darth Vader do it? Can he take down the entire Bat family? Well, I think in order to really answer that, gotta define what we mean by the Bat family, because it's a pretty big group. So we're factoring in Batman, Nightwing, Red Hood, Red Robin, spoiler, Batgirl, Cassandra Cain, and Batwoman. All 9 of them. There's Batman, who's one of the best martial artists on the planet and has trained under some of the greatest fighters in the world. He's an expert in every single fighting style known to man, and a lot of other alien fighting styles too, and so can quickly and effortlessly switch between fighting styles on the fly in order to perfectly counter and take down an opponent. Dick Grayson is both the adopted son of Bruce Wayne and the original Robin to Batman. However, once Dick kinda got old enough, he set out on his own, becoming Nightwing. After being put through some pretty intense training by Batman, Dick became a master martial artist, capable of going toe-to-toe with some of the best fighters in the world and beating them. Batman has even said in the past that Nightwing is the toughest and best fighter out of all the Robins, and Dick has proven this by beating both Deathstroke and even Batman himself in the past. Jason Todd is Red Hood, one of the only members of the Bat family that is totally fine with killing and using lethal attacks. He's also easily one of the best martial artists on the planet, having been trained under some of the best fighters, including Batman, Bronze Tiger, and Lady Shiva. Even Damien, who's not too fond of Red Hood, still has to admit that he's one of the greatest fighters who's ever lived. Red Hood is skilled enough to beat Deathstroke and Ra's al Ghul in a fight. He's even admitted that each time that he's fought against Batman, it's him who's the one holding back due to their relationship. With Batgirl, well, because Barbara's the daughter of the police commissioner, Batgirl's been trained to be a fighter since she was just 6 years old. And with just that skill alone, well, Batgirl was a good enough fighter that she managed to impress Batman. And from there, well, Bruce took her under his wing and personally trained her for a year, setting Barbara up to be one of the best, most skilled fighters in the world. Stephanie Brown, has had several different roles throughout the Bat family, serving as a Robin, as Spoiler, even being one of the Batgirls. She's a skilled fighter and can fight out against some of the best fighters from the League of Assassins. But alongside the rest of the Bat family, she's the least skilled out of the bunch. Tim Drake as Red Robin is known as a brilliant fighter and trained in hand-to-hand combat under Batman himself. However, he's probably the least skilled out of the four main Robins. A future version of Tim even realized that he would never be on the same level as Bruce, or Dick, or any of the other Robins. Kate Kane is the Batwoman, being both a highly trained member of the army and the Bat family, making her an incredibly skilled fighter. She received hand-to-hand combat training during her time at West Point, and received even more intense training as she traveled around the world. By the end, Batwoman was essentially a master in 14 different styles of fighting, with Batman describing how she fights as fluid, efficient, and precise. Then there's Robin, who's maybe one of the best fighters out of the bunch, the son of Batman and Talia al Ghul, raised in the Bat family and the League of Assassins. In fact, Damian has said in the past that he knows just as many martial arts as Batman himself, and he can use them all more effectively. Now, this is likely a massive overstatement. Damian isn't quite that good, but he's still ridiculously skilled. And then Cassandra Cain, born as the daughter of David Cain and Lady Shiva, Cassandra was raised to be the perfect killer, before rebelling against that and joining up with Batman and the Bat family instead. Growing up, Cass was taught to read body language rather than actually speaking, which now that allows her to perfectly read an opponent's body and understand their next move, sometimes before even they themselves know it. She's one of the absolute best fighters in the world, and with nothing but her fighting skills, she's been able to easily defeat Nightwing, and Batman said that he would lose to her if he ever had to fight her. And here's the thing, all of them, all the Bat family, have tons of gear and tech too. Smoke gas and tear grenades, explosive batarangs, shock batarangs, sonic batarangs, pretty much anything you can picture or imagine, they're carrying it right there inside their utility belts. And on top of that, they're not just some of the greatest fighters on Earth, they don't just have insane tech, but they're all brilliant geniuses and work incredibly well together, forming a fighting force that can take down just about anyone. But still, even with all of that, Darth Vader is just a different animal. For starters, undeniably stronger, tougher, and faster. Maybe not by a massive degree in raw strength, but you factor in his telekinesis with the Force, and he can effortlessly overpower any member of the Bat family. He's not just able to ragdoll literally anyone that he comes across, but Vader is able to overpower spaceships, overpower giant monsters, and bring down buildings. So yeah, strength goes to Vader for sure. Same with durability and speed. Vader is routinely blitzing opponents, even other Force users, and has shown off countless instances of blocking light speed blaster bolts and other attacks. I know these things don't look light speed on screen, but in Star Wars canon, they do move at light speed. He might not be the fastest on his feet, or necessarily the most agile in a fight, the suit definitely does weigh him down, but in terms of reaction time and speed of his blade, he's way faster than any member of the Bat family. But while the suit might weigh him down, it definitely has its perks, because it just makes Vader absolutely superhumanly tough, and a whole lot of what the Bat family carry on them isn't gonna even touch Vader. Like, you're talking about basically a variation of different batarangs, explosives, sonics, electric attacks, things like that. And Vader is just way too tough. The Dark Lord is no-sold building level explosions. He can simply walk through blaster fire. He's been tossed through skyscrapers, kept on fighting. Vader's even simply walked off crash landing down from orbit. While his armor is a bit susceptible to lightning, so that could be a viable tactic, there's also an argument for just how vulnerable is he. Because Darth took a full-on blast of lightning from the Emperor and kept on walking. And the Emperor can dish out some serious lightning. So he's either pretty durable or simply keeps on going through force, power, and sheer will and hatred. That's actually the same with an EMP blast, which would definitely be the Bat family's best course of action and something that they would 100% try and do if they get the chance. And it could work. It's actually worked on Vader before. Problem is, it's just like I said, Vader's power in the Force just ensures that he keeps on going. It's not going to keep him down for long, and the Bat family don't have enough firepower to actually put Darth down for the count in that slight moment that the EMP would give them. End of the day, the Bat family just has absolutely no answer to the Force or a lightsaber, Darth Vader's main two weapons. They're not going to be able to overpower Vader's Force grip. He can instantly and easily grab all of them, hold them suspended up there in the air, and they just simply can't overpower it. Then it's as simple as choking them out or cutting them down with his lightsaber. And he can do this against all of them, all at once. They can't even get a good sneak attack in because Vader will simply know where they are with the Force and they can't catch him off guard. If the Bat family had time to prepare, then it's a different story because they're all prep gods and could build some seriously powerful suits of armor and maybe even find some way to disrupt Vader's connection with the Force. But just in a random encounter, Darth Vader is winning every single time. He's choking them out, overpowering them with the Force, cutting them with a lightsaber. It wouldn't be pretty. You don't want to play with the Dark Lord of the Sith, and you don't want to underestimate the power of the dark side. Darth Vader wins.